one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. This gotta mean something to you. It gotta mean something. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2-3. 1, 2, 3. Finish.
Hey, I got some wise words for that Cincinnati mayor. Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni. You gotta fight for your right to party! You ready to make history? Come on now. Yeah. You know, there's these two words. And when I say them, people get goosebumps because they know what happens next. So without further ado, free smoke. Look, scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver. Pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience. I don't know why I feel so bad, nigga. That's what we do, no foundation. We don't build no more, we just screw. Half a bottle of Henny, girl, I'm going with the wind. The same niggas say they happy for me, ain't want me to win. So I'm done on my friends. Don't need help popping Coronas and reminiscing. I just call up Big Bro J and say it's time for venting. If I live forever, I hold this hate for some centuries. You don't know how much or how you doing what it meant to me, but motherfuck all that. I don't even offer up the time to make the call back. Stupid Lodo, if they don't get the picture now, man, I crop them out of the photo. I can't relate to my peers. Been doing this shit for years. I'm motivated by fears. I took the wheel and I steer. My sound not dictated by fuck boys in Atlanta. Stay gifted like this album was ghost written by Santa Bars forever, like they decided to throw me under Slammer. Every song's a hit like they picture me underhanders. I could drop 1,000,000 songs, but they never gon' understand us. Soapbox sermons for niggas never giving chances. Fight our whole lives to get these weak ass advances. Work twice as hard for the shit that they getting handed. And this ain't even nothing we chose, nigga, we branded. Still can't tell why all of these niggas mad at me. I'm trying to get 100 so I can put my team on salary. Give it all to the art, man, I turn my life to a gallery. Man, damn, what a fucked up masterpiece. 1,100 shots and I swear, man, I felt them all. If we ain't even good on our block, man, who can we call? Pre-decline state of mind, we broke crabs in the barrel. Got us fighting our folk, man, this shit just a life of peril.
Cashing in, say, the way Liv did, well, that's like winning the lottery, isn't it? And I don't need to win the lottery because I work my ass off every week for a paycheck.
Welcome to Kicking It with Saint. This is a sports show. I am your host, Saint. Yo, got a lot to talk about. Not really. We got a lot to talk about. A lot won't be talked. Yo, I just thought about something. If you follow me, you follow the channel, you subscribe to the channel, you might not be subscribed, you just watch the videos. Listen, if you're expecting draft coverage, it ain't happening. Like combine coverage, it's not going to happen. I do not watch college football anymore. I will watch the draft, and obviously I'm going to do a show recapping the draft. I'm not doing combine shows. I do not care about what dudes perform like with. I understand that they have to perform with nothing on them and things of that nature. You can learn a lot if you know how to look at these things. That's not worth me talking about in a show, to be completely honest, or dedicating a whole show entirely to it. I let the experts do that shit, and even they get it wrong. That's one of the biggest reasons I don't watch it. Lamar Jackson, nobody thought was going to be great. We see what he is. A lot of dudes don't perform phenomenal and put up phenomenal numbers. They end up just fine. I don't know if the combine is an exact science. No, it's definitely not an exact science. But I done heard too many things negative about not negative as in like bad things going on, just things that's like combine don't matter and things of that nature. And to be quite frank with you, I can't remember the last time in my football life of watching football that I cared about the combine. So it's not going to be a combine type show. But with that being said, we do have big news today. I would say breaking news is not really breaking because I'm not the one breaking it, but I guess breaking news in the NFL today. The New Orleans Saints signed Derek Carr. Now, I thought this was going to happen. I'm pretty sure when I did the video, I predicted that he would end up with the Saints. And this was for a couple reasons. I did not think the Jets was going to end up wanting to sign him. They could say all they wanted to about, oh, he could be a Super Bowl quarterback or a Hall of Fame quarterback with the Jets, blah, blah, blah. The fact of the matter is, if they wanted to sign him that bad, they would have signed him. It was nothing stopping them from signing him once he became a free agent. And they were waiting for Aaron Rodgers. And I respect the honesty of telling him, like, yo, we actually want Aaron Rodgers. But nonetheless, I knew they weren't in the position where they cared too much if he went to another team. So I didn't feel like he was going to go there. Derek Carr coming from the Raiders, I felt like he was going to want to go to a team that showed him that they wanted him. The Jets clearly showed him that he was an option, but wasn't their biggest number one option. When he met with the Saints before he was released and then met with him again after he was released, I pretty much figured that's where he would go. Plus, I felt like the Saints is the type of organization that would sign a Derek Carr. Now, that's a lot of teams out there that could have made this type of. Like if Jared Goff don't have the season he had last year, I'm almost certain the Lions would have been in on Derek Carr. But I don't think the market for Derek Carr was as huge as people tried to make it seem. I think it's teams out there that would much rather go after one of these quarterbacks in the draft, even if they're not sure things. You look at the combine and you see Josh Richardson having a great combine. And you see all these other quarterbacks, C.J. Stroud and all these other dudes having combines. And you can talk yourself into believing that one of these dudes is the answer. So why would you go out and then spend however much it costs to go get a Derek Carr, a guy who you've seen over the last 9 years, because he's been in the league for 9 years at this point, I believe. Yeah, he's been in the league for 9 years. You've seen what he can do. 2 playoff appearances, no wins. He really not a franchise quarterback in the sense of everything can go bad around him, and on a yearly basis he can have less than, and we can guarantee that he gonna, rise above all that and lift up the talent and make us a Super Bowl contender every year. He's not that type of guy. So if you're a franchise who don't want to waste that type of money on not a sure thing, because Derek Carr is not a sure thing, it would make sense that if you have an opportunity like the Panthers where you could possibly get a quarterback in the draft, like the Jets, or I don't even think the Jets draft high enough. That's why they're going for Aaron Rodgers. But if you one of these other teams that have a high draft pick in the draft this year, it would make or high enough to where you believe you could land one of these quarterbacks. It makes no sense to go after Derek Carr, in my opinion. The Saints, I feel like they are in a position where they have a good enough team. They can figure this cap thing out, and they want to attack right now. And maybe if you're the Saints, you feel like this is a weak quarterback conference where the NFC, all the great quarterbacks are in the AFC. The best quarterback in the NFC right now would be Jalen Hurts. You got Stafford can be good. Dak Prescott. I mean, hell, Daniel Jones is nowhere near, to me, a top quarterback in that division, and he might get $45 million. So if you're the Saints, I understand why you believe Derek Carr could be, because Derek Carr is better than a lot of those dudes that I just named. I think Derek Carr is more of a Dak Prescott type of quarterback. So yeah, he could be a top 5 quarterback in the NFC right now, for the simple reason most of the great quarterbacks, most of the top tier talented quarterbacks are in the AFC right now, which is real weird if one of these NFC teams don't make a strong push to get Lamar Jackson. Because when you look at the landscape of the NFC right now, I don't really think it's a franchise quarterback in the NFC, in the sense of I don't think it's a Lamar Jackson or a Patrick Mahomes in the NFC, like, unless one gets drafted. I know a lot of people think they high on Justin Fields. I'm not high on Justin Fields. I don't think Justin Fields is a good quarterback. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback. I think it's so many holes in his game. Like, I was looking at John Bones Jones talk about Cyril Gane, and how he was like, I think Cyril Gane is one of the most incomplete top 5 fighters in the rankings right now. That's exactly how I feel about Justin Fields. To me, he is one of the most incomplete quarterbacks in the NFL right now, as far as the starters. But for some reason, people have him as one of the top prospects. They feel like he's going to be great. And I just don't agree with that whatsoever. But this ain't a Justin Fields video. If I'm an NFC team, I'm trying. And Aaron Rodgers might be on the move. Who knows? I think he's going to end up in Green Bay still. I don't think that's what should happen, but that's probably what will happen. But with Aaron Rodgers, the decline he had last year and with the weapons, bro, the NFC is wide open. Jalen Hurts, as great as he is, you saying to yourself, well, it's those weapons. But nonetheless, if you can get a quarterback that's on the caliber of a Lamar, a Pat Mahomes, a Josh Allen, a Joe Burrow, a Justin Herbert, and you feel like you can put a team around those type of quarterbacks, bro, the NFC is wide open right now. And how long will it be? So that's an interesting thing now that I think about that. But yeah, if you Derek Carr, you definitely could be one of those upper echelon quarterbacks in the NFC, just specifically because the NFC is not that strong. So I don't really mind the Saints going and making this move. But do I think it'll pay off? I know I did a Derek Carr video earlier where I said that I didn't think Derek Carr changed the fortune of any team that he went to. I didn't think, not necessarily he didn't change the fortune. I don't think he make no team he go to a playoff team necessarily. And I still pretty much feel that way. You go to the Saints, and I like the Saints. If they can stay healthy, because a lot of key players for the Saints have been hurt over the last couple of years, and I don't know what's happening with Alvin Kamara. I love Mark Ingram, but I don't know if he can give you another full year of production. Is Cam Jordan coming back? Is they trading him? Is they going to fix his contract? Is he going to remain there? Like, what we doing with him? I believe he'll have another great season if he come back, but is Michael Thomas coming back? Is they releasing him? Like, what's going to happen with Michael Thomas? So, and is Michael Thomas hurt? Do he just not want to be in New Orleans anymore? Like, it's a lot of questions with the Saints, to be completely honest with you. It's not really a sure thing as people think. I understand you got players like Lattimore, DeMario Davis, Cam Jordan. You got pieces, but I don't. Derek Carr and Chris Olave. Like, again, don't know if Michael Thomas is going to be there. Don't know if Alvin Kamara will miss games, if he'll be there the entire season. I know Mark Ingram will probably be there, but will he be healthy for an entire season? Is Jarvis Landry, will he be back and will he be healthy? So it's a lot of questions going into the season for the offense, even with Derek Carr. And I don't think any of the receivers on the team is better than Amari Cooper or Devontae Adams. So, and you can make an argument Josh Jacobs was better last year than Alvin Kamara was. Now, Alvin Kamara bring another aspect because he catch better out the backfield than Josh Jacobs do. However, when I look at the Saints, see, this is the thing. People can keep acting like Derek Carr played with bums, but that's just not the case. I don't look at this New Orleans offense and say to myself, yeah, because they added Derek Carr, this offense will take off. For one, you got a defensive head coach, and I understand Dennis Allen drafted Derek Carr, but everybody like to talk about, oh, he had 6 different head coaches. Dennis Allen was one of those 6 coaches. So reuniting with him, I don't really know what that entails. When you add a quarterback, because people talking up Derek Carr, and I think it's because it's a dry market, because it's not real. No franchise quarterbacks ever get released or head to open market to be able to go to different teams, which would be insane if it happened to Lamar. But with Derek Carr out there, usually for a quarterback, like Aaron Rodgers, you put him on a team with actual talent at the receiving position, a running back, then yeah, to me, that's a needle moving type of thing, because Aaron Rodgers he's been that great in his career. Derek Carr ain't never been that great in his career. He done been in the league for 9 years. I don't even care for stats that much, but only 3 of those 9 years did he not throw double-digit interceptions. And sure, 4 of those 9 years he threw for 4,000 yards. But I told you multiple times, the yard shit does not matter. And I didn't even talk about the fumbles that he had throughout his career. That's just the interceptions. And only 3 of those 9 years did he not give the ball away double-digit times. I told you, one of his biggest problems is its inconsistency. The only thing that he is consistent at is being. I like Derek Carr. I think he a good dude. How he took that team, stood up for the team, and became a leader and led him to the playoffs and yada yada yada. The year before last was all cool. But you don't get points for sympathy points basically, because a lot of quarterbacks have to endure, and a lot of athletes and leaders have to endure things, and they have to still be great. It's still an expectation to be great on a yearly basis. You don't get that excuse all the time. You have to still be great. And I can make an argument. Derek Carr really haven't been great but 1 year in his career. And unfortunately, that year was cut short to injury. But I also noticed today when I was looking through Derek Carr's stats, he done had a season where he got sacked 51 times. And that's insane to me, because I always talk about how I don't think Derek Carr got the greatest pocket awareness where he take unnecessary sacks. I don't think nobody take more unnecessary sacks than Russell Wilson. But Derek Carr do take a lot of unnecessary sacks. But I have to go back and watch a lot of the film from that season where he got sacked 51 times. Because I got to understand why you got sacked 51 times. Because Derek Carr done had some great offensive lines on this team. So I'm very intrigued as to how in God's name did you get sacked 51 times in the season. Now, obviously, it's going to be a mixture of some bad play calling, bad reads, bad offensive line play, bad pocket awareness. It's going to be a mixture of all of them. But which one of those things stand out the most as to why the accumulation of these sacks happen? Because 51 is a lot of fucking sacks. And he had another season where I think he got sacked like 40-something times. Shit was crazy. But Back to the matter at hand. To me, Derek Carr ain't really a needle mover like an Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson. Hell, I could even make an argument I would prefer to have a Jimmy Garoppolo over Derek Carr. Now, I wouldn't take Jimmy over him because I think Jimmy G was a huge product of Kyle Shanahan's offense. Plus, at least Derek Carr will be healthier than Jimmy G will. However, when you add him, bro, this is kind of like what I did when I talked about Phillip Rivers a couple years ago, when I was like, yo, the offense that he have with the Chargers is better than what he going to. Why would I think the Colts a Super Bowl contender getting him when the Chargers offense was better? This is the same thing, bro. The Raiders offensive weapons throughout Derek Carr's career has been better than the offensive weapons that he is with now. If he couldn't have consistent success with the offensive weapons he had in Vegas/Oakland, I don't understand why I would have high, expectations for him to have success with this offense. And it's no shot at these dudes in this offense. There's some ballers in this offense. I just don't think it's a significant improvement on this offense compared to the offenses he's played in, especially when I consider he played with Amari Cooper in his prime and Devontae Adams in his prime. So no slight at Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas really ain't played in 2-3 years. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, you keep telling me this, all I hear about the excuse for he ain't never played with a top 10 defense. Now, I ain't never heard that excuse be used for a quarterback, I don't think, in my life. I can't remember the last time I heard a team talk about a quarterback having had a top 10 defense. Like, I remember when we talked about Aaron Rodgers never being able, where his defense consistently was giving up 30 plus points. But that's because this team defense was like a bottom 5 defense. I can't remember the last time that little caveat, he ain't never played with a top 10 defense. That's crazy. Nonetheless, the Saints is a team that we look at as a good defense, a great defense at times. We look at the head coach, Dennis Allen. He's been a part of that great Saints defense for a while now. So you got high expectations there. So let me ask you this. If Derek Carr and this team don't make the playoffs, or make the playoffs and lose in the first round, like he have in the other 2 appearances, what do you say as an excuse then? Because if the Saints defense is the reason they care, if the Saints defense carry this team, they will be knocked out in the first round of the playoffs if they even get there. You're going to have to be able to score some points. And one of my biggest problems is not having an offensive coordinator. And, you know, Derek Carr is not the best decision maker at times. I don't think he really pushed the ball down the field as much as you would like to. I don't think he made great decisions consistently. I don't think he made great throws consistently. Like, this is a question that I ask when I talk about Justin Fields. Like, aside from him running, as a quarterback, tell me one thing Justin Fields do good. Okay, now as a quarterback, I ask you the same question for Derek Carr. Name one thing Derek Carr do great as a quarterback on the field, because all I ever hear is, oh man, Derek Carr is such a great leader of men. He gonna lead the team. You know, his passion. He a great leader. Okay, but what do he do great on the field? Because he is a good thrower of the football. He is a competent NFL thrower of the football. Justin Fields is not. That's why I asked you, what do he even do good? What do Derek Carr do great? Because when you talk about franchise quarterbacks, for one, he was a franchise quarterback for the simple reason he was there long enough. But every year it felt like they was talking about, will he be traded? Will he not be traded? Will he be released? Like, until finally he was released. So was he ever really truly a franchise quarterback because of talent and because he could uplift talent, or just because of longevity? That's the type of conversation you start to get into, because Jameis Winston put up just as great numbers, but I don't see nobody calling him no franchise quarterback. So I ask you, what do Derek Carr do great as a quarterback on the field? I don't care about his leadership. I do care, but I'm not talking about that in this instance. I don't care about it in this instance. What do he do great that will translate to when he get to the Saints, aside from his leadership? What will he do great? Because Andy Dalton was a great leader. What will he do great that will translate on the field that will make the Saints a better team compared to the teams they will have to play against? Because from what I'm seeing is you banking on all the other quarterbacks in your division and around the NFC to stay bad or stay just average. You banking on the Panthers not striking a quarterback, not getting a quarterback in the draft and not hitting on it. You banking on the Falcons not being able to get a quarterback in the draft or landing Lamar Jackson. You banking on or the Panthers landing Aaron Rodgers. Like, excuse me. You banking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers not being able to get a quarterback. And everybody else. Because neither the eye test nor the stats tell you Derek Carr is a franchise game-changing quarterback. But when you make this type of commitment to Derek Carr, I think it's like a 4-year contract, then that's saying that you expect him to, you know, get this team to the promised land. And I don't see that happen. I don't even think the Saints will be a consistent playoff team over the next couple years of his contract unless the defense take it to another level. Because I don't think Derek Carr really raises the play to other people around him with his play. And I don't think he really is a dude who really add really any points to the, like if the Saints, let's say this, if the Saints averaged 14 points last year, this year they'll average 21. I think he'll add a touchdown difference. But what I'm saying is, if you believe that the touchdown difference is the difference in them being great this year, then I think that that's either too many points I gave them or the weakness of the NFC. Because if you average 14 points and now you scoring 21, averaging 21, that's not good enough against the greats in the NFC, in the AFC. That ain't good enough against the Eagles. That ain't good enough against the Cowboys. Like, I don't want to have to rely on outside things going wrong or this going bad or this team playing out of character for me to be great. And I just think that's what ends up happening when you got Derek Carr. And I'm not trying to disrespect Derek Carr. I'm just calling it how I see it. But I don't think that this really is a needle mover. I really don't. I saw Stephen A's take on First Take about it. I basically feel the same way. Now, I said it last week when I did the video about Derek Carr, but yeah, I mean, I basically feel the same way. I just don't think he moves the needle for a team offensively. Whereas Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, I done seen Lamar Jackson be great with absolutely nothing around him but a tight end. I done seen Aaron Rodgers win 4 MVPs and win a Super Bowl. So these is dudes who clearly move the needle for a team. Derek Carr has never been that for a team. More times than not, on a team with Derek Carr, you constantly worrying about everything around him that he don't have because you're trying to make excuses for him not raising the level of play. I saw Lamar Jackson come into a season 2 years ago with everybody around him injured, and he still had his team at the top of the AFC until he got hurt. You've never seen Derek Carr do that type of thing where everybody on the team. He lost a receiver who wasn't even like a top tier receiver. And everybody say, oh, man, look at the and lost a head coach. And everybody was like, oh, man, Derek Carr carried this team through the fire and, just the leadership. And OK, that's all good. But what happened when he don't got to be a dramatic leader and have to what happened when you just got to play football? I think things can get dicey. And like I said, you're relying on a lot of teams in the NFC not getting better at the quarterback position, not having any type of development or progression at the quarterback position in order to be good. The only team that's going to guarantee you that's going to remain bad this year at the quarterback position is the team that employed Baker Mayfield. That's the only one. And if you banking on one team definitely being bad, because the team that got Baker Mayfield employed as they starting quarterback will definitely not be a contending team, then that's just stupid. But I was thinking about something literally a couple minutes ago before I got on the show. Calvin Ridley has been reinstated in the NFL he was suspended that 1 year for gambling. And it made me, I don't know how I forgot about this. He got a full year of suspension for gambling. Because, the integrity of the game. And I don't even think I care too much that he got a year. That actually seemed pretty fair. But Deshaun Watson got 8 games or some shit like that this year? And I know some people going to be quick. Whoa, bro, Saint, he already served a year. My guy, I don't think people remember in history right. This is the thing that happened when people are so quick to get to the next big event that you short sight history. You want to remember how you... Deshaun Watson chose to sit out that entire year, his last year in Houston. He didn't want to be there anymore. Well, before those allegations broke, he was threatening to sit out. He was saying he didn't want to be there. He was trying to force a trade because they had traded away DeAndre Hopkins. They had traded DeAndre for a wash. I don't want to be disrespectful, but for a running back who clearly was not a good running back anymore. And a lot of crazy organizational decisions. That's what made Deshaun Watson basically hold out and refuse to play. He was not suspended. He was still getting paid. He came to an agreement with the Texans that he would not play. He was not suspended. You cannot be suspended for a full year and still get paid. His punishment from the NFL was basically half a year. Now, you can say, well, he was found innocent in those charges. But we done seen other dudes be suspended even when found innocent of charges because of misconduct or conduct that's detrimental to the league. How in Jesus' name do Deshaun Watson get 14 or what? Now, it wasn't even 14. I think it was 8 games. And you give Buddy a year. That's insane to me. I don't understand the people who sit there and say, well, he already served a year. You don't want to force him to serve 2 years. I ain't got nothing to do with him serving that first year. He could have played last year. And maybe if he played last year, the punishment would have came down last year. He chose not to. He chose to sit out and still be paid. That ain't got shit to do with me. And maybe you could say the NFL should have sped up their process. That's cool. I ain't got nothing to do with me also. All I know is he ended up serving 8 games for the actual incident. He didn't. What the hell? That's crazy. And I think I had that same opinion back then, but I just completely forgot about that because I forgot about Calvin Ridley. But shout out to Calvin Ridley, who reinstated. He going to be a Jaguar now, a Jacksonville Jag. That is an amazing addition if he is in shape for the Trevor Lawrence in this offense. a dude who can run a lot of great routes for you, who can get up the field, who can play in the slot or outside if you need him to. This is a great addition to what you already have. And I think I read a report that they was going to franchise tag, if they haven't already franchise tagged, Evan Ingram. Great decision. You need to find a way to come to a long-term contract with Evan Ingram. He is a great tight end. You bought low last year and ended up winning high. So you have to cashing out high. So you have to absolutely try to find a way to keep him, especially since considering he was Trevor Lawrence's number one option last year. He was not even just a number one option. That was his favorite target. Clearly his safety blanket. Why mess that chemistry up? You got to find a way to get that contract done. You have to bring back. See, this is the thing where people talk about players not mattering, certain positions. This matters. This is a safety blanket for your tight end. This is clearly his favorite. I mean, for your quarterback. This is his favorite target, his number one target, his safety blanket. If all else fails, you know he going to Evan Ingram. You got to bring him back. You absolutely have to bring him back. They showed you what they could do together in 1 year. Give them another offseason together. It can only get better. A quarterback and a tight end relationship is special. You see Lamar Andrews. You see Brady Gronk. You see Kelsey Mahomes. Bring them back. To me, this is a no-brainer type of situation. It is no reason why Evan Ingram should end up on another team in the offseason. And you add, like you say, you bring those weapons that you brought in the offseason last year, including Ingram, the receiver, Kurt, and you bring in now Calvin Ridley. Yeah. And you got a great running back at Travis Etienne. Yeah. You can get better on the offensive line. Yeah. You got a good offensive head coach in Doug Peterson, who has also won a Super Bowl. Yeah. The Jags going places. I'm picking them to win the division again this year. I already done given out a spoiler. Y'all not going to remember it, though, by the time we get to the division pick videos. Then when the video pop up, you can be like, oh, yeah, he picked the Jags. But maybe he changed his mind. Based off of no offensive offseason moves really happening yet. I'm pretty sure I'm picking the Jags to win that division again next year. But, yeah, you got to bring back Evan Ingram. Calvin Ridley, you mix him into that. If he's still the player that he was before he got suspended and before he took his leave of absence in Atlanta because all the losing that was transpiring was taking a toll on him mentally, then this is going to be another a year there where the offense for the Jacksonville Jags, it can only take a step forward. That's the only thing that can happen. But with that being said, I appreciate y'all for joining me. I can't even get the outro right today. I appreciate y'all for joining me on another episode of Kicking It with Saint. Tell somebody you fuck with him. Tell somebody you love him. You can be anything in the world. Choose to be kind to somebody today. Saint out.
I got the moves like hot sauce. Lil' mama taking the top off. I'm laying down getting topped off. After this, you know she getting knocked off. I know she loving the money, so I keep on thumbing and thumbing. She say she horny when she taking shots, so I keep them coming and coming. Now I'm putting dick in her tummy. Scoop her up like I'm raking the summers. You would think shawty red track, the way that she running and running. You getting dumber and dumber. You out here chasing the bone. After she finished from giving me dome, the Uber is taking her home. Tight.